Hey people, how's it? Nice to be with you. We're talking about trials and tribulation in our lives. We're talking about the type of trial that God sends into our lives to heat things up a little bit, to burn some of the junk out of our lives. We talk about trials where God comes sometimes to prune us, not always comfortable. But this is what God does in order to shape us for his purposes. Don't fight them, embrace them. Now, we're talking about the trials that sometimes we look at and we think, man, I just wish I could find a quick way through this trial. And we look therefore for shortcuts. Everybody's looking for a shortcut to get out of this as quick as they possibly can, to go around it or under it or over it. But I just don't want to go through this trial. And so our eyes are open for escape routes and for shortcuts. My job today is to warn you about the shortcuts, that we spoke a little bit about that yesterday. But today I want to warn you about complicated answers. You see, a shortcut can look like a complicated answer. Isn't it crazy how when people are faced with challenges in their lives, they're always looking for a complicated answer. And sometimes the more complicated it is, the more they like it. You see, the more complicated it looks like, this may be the thing that can help me as a shortcut through my trial. People avoid complicated answers. Life is simple. Get a few simple truths right and watch the rest follow suit. As we get a few fundamentals in life right, we realize that life is not nearly as complicated as we think it is. The answers are simple. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. In the context, first of all, of the wilderness. You see, the wilderness for the children of Israel was a place of learning. There were many trials, there were many tests, most of them they failed. But at the end of the day, they looked for the answer. Now, God, in his grace and his kindness, gave them a thing called the law. 10 Commandments, plus some others. The sacrificial laws, the cleanliness laws. And God gave them these laws. And they said, man, maybe this is the way to get us as a shortcut through our trial. Let's really hammer the law. And so we have the Pharisees. Oh, man, the Pharisees knew the law. And the Pharisees knew how to lay guilt on people because they couldn't fulfill the law. You'll never fulfill the law completely. But boy, the Pharisees tried, and they used guilt and shame to manipulate the people until the people were in a state of absolute desperation and hopelessness. And the deeper they got into desperation, the more the Pharisees laid the law on them. The rules and the regulations, and they had to perfect these rules and regulations to the utmost degree, only to get them into a place of bondage. They were looking for a shortcut. They were looking for complicated answers to their problems. The answer in the wilderness was a very simple one. God just wanted them to trust him. He put them through the trials of hunger and thirst and enemies and long walks and dusty times, just as trials. And because those trials were just too much for them and the complicated answers were too much for them, they found themselves going through tests that had no answer, and there was just no fruit to that which they wanted. People, listen. There is only one formula that gets us through these trials, and that is to trust God. I don't know why he brings them on us. Well, actually, I do. He's trying to fulfill his purpose in your life. Sometimes he uses tough things to happen. Sometimes he uses incredible sadness to come into our lives. He's not being mean. He's not being punitive, but he is just preparing us for something far greater than you could ever imagine. So the thing here is to embrace the trial. If this is not a trial that you have created, then it has to have come from God. Don't run from it. Engage with it. Learn from it, and in time, with great patience and endurance, you'll see the purpose of God, and its fruition will be amazing. So, learn the lesson of the wilderness. No shortcuts, no complicated answers. Don't rush off to the next self-help book to find help through your trial or your test. Don't listen to the prevailing wisdom of the local gurus who think they can talk you through anything. I'm not knocking everything they say. I think there's some good common sense in that. But at the end of the day, it's not about that at all. God just wants you to learn to trust him no matter what. God is good, we said the other day, all the time. And all the time, you know the answer, God is really good. This is a good time to find that out. Have a great day. Bye.